Sakuradamongai no Hen, the Sakuradamon Incident. Before being a small tube station between the Imperial Palace and the National Diet in Tokyo, Sakuradamon was the name of a major incident that changed the course of Japanese history. As overlooked as that small station, Sakuradamongai no Hen was actually a decisive turning point which happened on March 24, 1860 at the Edo Castle Gate called Sakurada, and set a course of events that eventually led to the Satsuma Rebellion and the disparition of the samurai 150 years ago. That event is still commemorated every year by a ceremony called Sakurada Reshisai, celebrated by Professor Honma Takao in a small shrine, Tsuchiura Yasaka Jinja, about an hour north of Tokyo. As we took part in the event, Honma Sensei was kind enough to tell us the story of the 18 samurai who first took arms against the shogunate and inspired the revolution that threw Japan into the modern world. Everything begins at the end of the Edo period. Although the imperial lineage is uninterrupted since ancient Japan, the political power of the emperor has been reduced to a ceremonial and religious role for several centuries. Japan, still ruled through a feudal system, is effectively governed by the shoguns of the Tokugawa family and has been successfully isolated from the rest of the world for more than 200 years. So, when the U.S. Commodore Matthew Perry suddenly reaches Japan in 1853 with a small fleet of Western warships, with the intention to make Japan open its borders to international trade through the use of gunboat diplomacy, it is the biggest upheaval known by Japanese society for centuries. The Japanese government soon realizes that they don't have the military means to handle a fight with Perry, let alone compete with Western powers. They have no other choice than accepting a series of unequal treaties with America, Russia, England, France, and other Western countries. But they also know that such a brutal opening would irremediably change Japanese society in an unpredictable way, and some fear that such a submissive attitude would make Japan look weak and open the door to more unfair demands. This dilemma splits the elites between two major groups: those who want to accept the terms of the West until Japan catches up and is in a position to renegotiate them, and those who want to refuse the opening and fight the foreigners. The Mitohan was a major clan with a great political influence, holding a wide estate north of the capital Edo. Ruled by a powerful family related to the dominant Tokugawa lineage, it is the birthplace of the Mitogaku, a set of studies that includes a complete history of Japan, which emphasizes the fact the shogun stole power from the emperor. An ideology that led to a movement called Sonojoi, revere the emperor, expel the barbarians, also known as the foreigners. On the shogun side in Edo, Ii Naosuke, member of the Shogun Ancient Council, originated from the Hikone Han, a domain that had been involved with the Deutsch studies, was favorable to trading with foreigners to import technologies and strengthen Japan. When the shogun fell ill, Ii Naosuke was chosen over the Tokugawa of the Mito province, further worsening the conflict between two mutually exclusive visions of the path Japan should take. In April 1858, soon after becoming regent, Naosuke signed the Harris Treaty, the first of the unfair treaties, which set fire among those not sharing his ideas. Fearing a countrywide rebellion, Naosuke initiated the Ansei Purge between 1858 and 1860. Those who did not support its authority and foreign trade policies were imprisoned, executed, or exiled. Tokugawa Noriaki, daimyo of the Mitohan, was placed under arrest as he thought that removing the leaders of the protest would weaken anti-shogun forces enough to not pose any threat. He will be proved terribly wrong. March 24, 1860, early morning, he, leaving the Edo castle inside a palanquin escorted by about 60 samurai, was ambushed by a total of 17 Mito Ronin and Arimura Jisaiman, a samurai from the Satsuma domain. While an attack at the front drew the attention of the guards, a lone assassin fired one shot into the palanquin with a Japanese-made Colt 1851 Navy revolver. which had been copied from the firearms that Commodore Matthew Perry had given the shogunate as gifts before proceeding to behead him. The surviving ambushers fled the scene and found refuge in a nearby temple, where they wrote a manifesto describing their motivations for their action. While fully aware of the necessity for some change in policy since the coming of the Americans, it is entirely against the interest of the country and a stain on the national honor to open up commercial relations with foreigners, to admit foreigners into the castle, to conclude treaties with them, to abolish the practice of persecuting Christians, to allow foreigners to build places for the workshop of their evil religion, and to allow the 3 foreign ministers to reside in our land. Therefore, we have consecrated ourselves to be the instruments of heaven to punish this wicked man, Ii Naosuke, and we have taken it on ourselves as our duty to end a serious evil by killing this atrocious aristocrat. The death of Ii Naosuke sent a shockwave to all of Japan, as Ii was considering doing a good job at restoring the prestige of the Bakufu, and it was clear that no one would be able to replace him. If the assassination of Ii Naosuke calmed down internal tensions within the Mito domain for a while, it also reinforced the Sonojoi movement, and the Mito domain was finally considered as the head and origin of the anti-Bakufu ideology. In an attempt to suppress the Sonojoi ideology, a shogunal pacification force of 3,700 soldiers with cannons and firearms was sent to Mito in June 1864. If the Mito rebellion was only counting about 2,000 samurai, not as well equipped as the shogun forces, their determination and the lack of experience of their enemies allowed them to keep the upper hand for several months. The additional 3,000 soldiers sent by the shogunate in early December was not yet enough, but the shogunate eventually crushed the rebellion by the end of December with an overwhelming 10,000 soldiers against the remaining 1,000 insurgents. 355 were beheaded as punishment, and for the next 3 years, a conservative pro-shogunate faction took over Mito, putting a definitive end to the rebellion. In 1866, the Satsuma Choshu alliance between Saigo Takamori and Kido Takayoshi, leaders of the reformists in their respective domains and brought together by Sakamoto Ryoma of the Toso province, initiated the Boshin War, the last war ever fought by the samurai, which ultimately led to the restoration of the emperor. By 1968, the restoration of the emperor was not any longer motivated by an anti-foreigners ideology, but simply by the need to strengthen Japan to face this inevitable new globalized world. Saigo, Kido, and Sakamoto eventually became great figures of this new Japan, and are still considered among the greatest heroes in history. The Sakura Damon incident influence is often underestimated in history books, but the assassination of Ii Naosuke is undoubtedly what led the shogunate to its doom. Let's conclude this historical video by hearing some words from Professor Honma Takao, who keeps alive the memory of the 18 samurai, who were, to his eyes, no less historic than Saigo and Ryoma.
本間隆夫でございます。陶器の主人であります。職業は神職でございます。先代は本間健一郎という水戸学研究家でもあったし、国家主義運動家でもあった人の後を継ぎましてね、私がそこの養子になったもんですから、先代が亡くなってからは自分が桜田列祭を主催しております。日本の近代史を左右する大きな事件であったと思います。それで大体現代の言葉で言いますと一つのテロでありますが、それが成功するということはあんまりないんですよね。ところが桜田門外の変というのは完全に成功した。それから日本の近代史に大きな影響を与えたということでは 歴史的には相当なものだと思っております、自分はね。幕末、日本の徳川時代の最後にあたりまして、特に大きな事件は、ペリーが日本へ開国を迫って、日本に開国を求めてきたのが大きな事件であったと思いますが、その時期にあたりまして、日本はそれまでは鎖国制度をとっておりましたもんですから、当然当時の徳川幕府の力だけでは軍事的にも外交的にも大変な時代に迫られたわけでありますが、桜田門外の変を一つの機会としまして、近代の夜明けの鐘を桜田門外の志士たちは行ったと思っております。特に水戸藩が中心になりましてね。水戸藩はよく知られている言葉で尊王攘夷という皇室を第一義に考えて、外国からの勢力はその攘夷というその言葉で言っておりますが、その歴史のこの変革期にあたりまして、言いたいのはまずその国を開くということを、日本のその外国に対する政策というのは天皇の了解を求めてでないとできなかったわけですよ。それを井伊直弼の時代に、それを無視して、開国に走ったというところがあるんですよね。で、そういうものに対するいろいろなその反対の勢力がたくさんありますよね。水戸藩もそうだし、長州もそうだし、薩摩もそうだし、というふうには。特に長州の吉田松陰先生なんかは強く反対されました。その邪魔になる人たちをなんて言いますか、召し取って処刑していったのが例の安政の大国ですよね。そのまま行くと、日本のその将来を危ぶんだ水戸の浪士たちが桜田門外の変を起こすことになるわけですかね。大体そういう事件は大概失敗するのが多いんですがね、それを成功させたちのはすごいですよね。復讐的な傾向もありますよね。例えば水戸藩で家老の人が2人切腹を命じられてますしね。それから安政の大国はその幕府側でなくて、その水戸藩的な考えから言っても、長州の吉田松陰にしても、その同志の中の代表的な人が命を亡くしてますよね。そういうことがあんまり進んじゃうと、日本のこの近代化っていうあれがその足踏みすることも恐れたこともあったかもしれませんね。やっぱりその領袖って言われた金子万次郎、高橋泰次郎という二人の指導者 まず優れていたということと、それから現場に出てました関貞之助であるとか斎藤監物であるとかという人たちのイデオロギーのきちんとしたところですね。そういう点ではすごいなと思いますよね。特に高橋太一郎なんて人は人を見る目が抜群に優れてたらしいですよね。それから金子孫次郎、領主の一人の金子孫次郎は南軍の氷奉行をしてたんだけれども、やっぱり人を使うその技量っていうかね、そういうものが優れててですね、ああいう大事件を起こすっていうのはやっぱりその下でその働く人たちも大事だけれども、その指導者がきちんとしてないとダメですよね。これはこれはいつの時代でも同じでしょうね。そこへ向くと現代の日本人、そういう人たちに匹敵する人がいるからというと、なかなか政治家なんかに見ないもんね。しかし命を懸けてその新しい時代を迎えようとした魂っていうか精神にやっぱりなんとなく弔ってやりたくなりますね。その場で命を捨てた人たちもいるわけですから、それを弔ってやりたいっていうのが我々が歴史祭を主催する気持ちです。日本にはそういうイデオロギーがずっとありましたからね。例えば南北朝時代に楠木正成なんていう武将がいましてね、天皇の日本の皇室のために命を懸けて、ここの仙台なんかも南根っていう楠木魂っていう書いて南根という言葉を自分で作って楠木正成をずっと弔っておりましたがね。それと同じような気持ちで私は歴史祭を世話役をやらせてもらってます。国に対してもそうだし、個人的にもそうだけれども、己のを亡き者にして新しい時代を迎えようとしようとした当時の若い人たちには感激もしてるし、そういう心をなんとかつないでいきたいとは思ってます。
ありがとうございます。